remember the exact moment I realized we were breaking, even though nothing had officially ended yet. It wasn't during a fight or some dramatic confession. It was quiet, almost forgettable, which somehow made it worse. It was a Tuesday night, the kind that feels suspended in time. We were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, our phones glowing more warmly than we did toward each other. I laughed at something on my screen and turned to tell you, the way I always used to. Halfway through the movement, I stopped. You were already deep in your phone, thumb scrolling, face relaxed in a way it never seemed to be with me anymore. I swallowed the joke and looked back at my screen, feeling something small but irreversible crack inside me. We hadn't always been like this. In the beginning, everything felt loud and alive. We stayed up until 2 in the morning talking about childhood memories and hypothetical futures. We wandered through grocery stores just to invent meals we'd never actually cook. I remember one rainy afternoon when the power went out, and we lit candles and danced in the kitchen like the darkness was a gift instead of an inconvenience. Back then, being with you felt effortless, like breathing. The shift was so gradual I almost missed it. It started with canceled plans that never got rescheduled. Work's been crazy, you'd say, and I believed you, because I wanted to. Then came the delayed replies, the distracted nods when I spoke, the way you'd sigh when I brought up anything emotional. I told myself not to be needy, not to overthink. I became skilled at minimizing my own hurt. One weekend stands out more than the others. We were supposed to take a short trip, something we'd planned for months. I packed carefully, folding my clothes with a strange sense of hope, like maybe time away would reset us. The night before we were meant to leave, you told me you didn't feel up to it anymore. You said you needed space, but you didn't look at me when you said it. I nodded and said I understood. After you left, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the packed bag, feeling foolish for believing effort could still save us. I started keeping score without meaning to. How often I said I miss you compared to how often you did. How many conversations I carried alone. I hated that part of myself, the quiet accountant of disappointment, but I couldn't stop. Each imbalance felt like evidence in a case I was afraid to close. When we did spend time together, it felt different. We laughed, but it was thinner. We touched, but it lacked warmth. I remember going to a friend's birthday party together, watching you light up in conversations with everyone else. You were charming, animated, fully present. I stood nearby, smiling, wondering why I seemed to get the leftovers of your attention. On the drive home, I asked if something was wrong between us. You said no too quickly, and the subject died right there. The fight came eventually, not as a storm but as a slow, steady rain. We were sitting at the kitchen table, surrounded by dirty dishes we'd both been avoiding. I told you I felt lonely, even when we were together. You rubbed your temples and said you felt stuck, like you didn't know who you were anymore. I wanted to ask if I was the reason, but I was afraid of the answer. Instead, I listened, nodding, absorbing blame that was never clearly assigned. After that conversation, everything felt fragile. I walked on eggshells, choosing my words carefully, afraid any wrong step would push you further away. I tried to be easier, to love less emotional, more independent, endlessly understanding. But the more I adjusted myself, the less I recognized who I was becoming. I missed the version of me who felt safe enough to need you. The end arrived in fragments. The last time we kissed without it feeling obligatory. The last time we shared a bed and faced opposite walls. The last time I said I love you and waited too long for you to say it back. When we finally said the words out loud that it wasn't working, it felt almost anticlimactic. We cried, but softly. We hugged, but loosely. By then, the relationship had already been gone for weeks. After you moved out, I kept finding traces of you everywhere. A mug in the back of the cabinet. A jacket you'd forgotten in the closet. Even the silence felt shaped like you. I oscillated between missing you desperately and feeling an unfamiliar lightness, like I could finally exhale.